Welcome into the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper here from the Star in Frisco in the Globe Life Studios alongside Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Cowboys fall at home in the home finale of the 2025 season. 34-17 the final score to the Los Angeles Chargers. Cowboys give up 452 total yards of offense. Justin Herbert, broken hand and all, he goes for 300 plus and multiple touchdowns in the win. You had multiple guys step up on the Chargers offensive side. And then after the Cowboys offense scored on every possession in the first half, they sputtered just a little bit, didn't have a bad day, but sputtered just a little bit in the third quarter, and that was enough for the Chargers to take advantage and to grow a lead. So, Isaiah, I'll start with you. Your thoughts after the Cowboys fall in this one now at 6-8-1.
Yeah, it really came down to the fact that they were sustaining drives. They were sustaining that level of play. When I say they, I'm talking about the Chargers throughout the entire game. The Dallas Cowboys, as you mentioned, they sputtered. They were able to fight early on. They were trading blows, but then it stopped, right? And then it just started being an onslaught attack by the Chargers. The physicality was on display for them. They did a heck of a job there. Their ability to go out there and just hit Dallas in the mouth, stop what we were doing offensively, defensively. They were able to have an impact on us in the second half. We just weren't able to get the big plays anymore like we were in the first half. And then we were unable to get a running game going, which put Dak in a situation where he had to throw the ball.
You know, I just felt the first team to kick the field goal lose. And we were the first team to kick the field goal. And they just kept scoring. Like you said, it was very consistent. Jim Harbaugh teams are going to run the ball. And they got 152 yards. Quentin Williams wasn't in there. And I always say we got to try to stop something. We know our back end of our defense is kind of weak, so we try to stop something so we can commit more assets to the back end of the defense. That didn't happen today. They just played hard, consistent, longer than we did. They had penalties. We had penalties, but today they were the better team.
When you look at the drives that the Chargers put together, of course, it started early and often. Dallas goes down, scores on their opening drive. Everything looks great. Starters stayed in, by the way. We talked about that a lot pregame. They, of course, did not pull the starters at any point in this football game up until that final drive. However, the way that the defense struggled to slow down a balanced attack, a Justin Herbert-led attack, was significant because, remember, they were making adjustments, or at least trying to make adjustments. Matt Eberflus going to the box, trying to see the game from a different level. Your thoughts on how the defense performed?
Not great. And people are going to look at Matt Eberflus and get frustrated with him. Matt Eberflus did everything that you could possibly pull out of that playbook today, and none of it necessarily worked.
Yeah.
He tried to play zone. They flooded the zones and were able to accurately depict and predict what kind of coverage we were going to be in. That was a touchdown with Ladd McConkey down the sideline. They tried to play man-to-man. Everybody that was playing man-to-man was getting beat. You try to stop the run. That didn't necessarily work either. Mario Hampton had a heck of a day. So I think we got out-schemed and we got outplayed. It was just a bad day.
It's just on the back end. You brought back Diggs. It didn't work. You had the young Rebel. It didn't work. Right now, you're playing with guys that have not played together, guys that have not played in Diggs. You got a young Rebel coming and trying to come into this league. It's not going to work until these guys have had a total offseason. Whatever offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, that they decide to have, it takes teamwork. And they, like Isaiah said, they out-schemed us. They flooded some zones. Diggs looked like he was lost along with the safety. We lost Wilson. We put in Bell. Not much changed. I mean, either you're going to change the coaches and some of the players, or you're going to stay pat and work together and be better as a team and smarter.
And that's the decision that they're going to have to sift through over these next two games. Just to look at the drive chart for Los Angeles in the first half. Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns in the first half. Second half, field goal punt. The one time they did not score on a drive was at the end of the third quarter. Then they go field goal, touchdown, and then they were kneeling it out at the end of the game there before giving it back to Dallas for the final snap. So with all that being said, the improvements on the defensive side did not show up here in Week 16. On the offensive side of the football, you could see a considerable step forward from the way that they've played over the last 2 weeks. Now, of course, it's in a losing effort, but when you score on your first 3 possessions of the game, when you put up 350 yards of total offense, you typically should win that football game, Nate, right?
The game was different because you had a better left tackle and a more consistent left guard. And we put Tyler Smith out to the left tackle. We put TJ Bass at your left guard. And then Hoffman came in and played your center after BB got hurt. That was an improvement. I mean, I hate to say that, but when you got a solid inside and a guy that we can not have to help every down at the left tackle, that's improvement. Dak looked it better and seemed to throw the ball with more consistency and more confidence.
And is that something you can anticipate maybe as a full-time possibility? If you thought it looked good today, do you move Tyler Smith back out the left tackle and see what happens?
Yeah.
It's one game, and that's not what their thought process is. Let me make that entirely clear. But if you're going to think about restructuring the tackle spot in this offseason, that is an option.
You know, Tyler Smith is a guard, super guard. He will be above average left tackle. He's still got some things out of the world, but that is your best tackle on the field. And sometimes when Coach Johnson used to always tell us, you know what, forget who play what, I want my 5 best players on the field. And if your 5 best players on the field today, maybe you need to run that back next week. And because we trying to see what this team can do. We put in Milton at quarterback. We got different guys at the wide receivers late in the game. Hey, since we're playing that game, let's play it all the way.
Yeah, I don't like the thought of him being there permanently. I think that he is arguably the best left guard in football, so I would love for him to stay and remain in that position. You drafted a first-round left tackle that has been unavailable, I'll say that, and Tyler Guyton. I think that you have to figure that out. He has to figure himself out. And Terrence Steele, they're going to make some decisions regarding Terrence Steele. I don't think that he's played up to the level that they hope that he would, but also this is his first year with both offensive line coaches that they added this year. So I think that there's still a chance for Terrence Steele to improve, and so that you don't have to make any drastic moves there. But holistically, as an offensive line, is not playing up to par, and that's not alienating what's going on in the middle either. I think Cooper Beebe has a lot of work to do. I think he's a position that has to be evaluated on whether or not he can handle his one-on-one opportunities when they're present.
But when you are talking about Dak not playing at all, or Dak is playing. If Dak in there, I need the best 5. It's time to quit messing around.
Right. Yeah.
I need my best 5. And if who I drafted ain't my best 5 and they seem to be, if it's Hoffman, if my center, that's my guy. Playing. Because this is the time of year. Next year we'll be talking about, hey, they ain't going to play during the preseason. Yep. Okay, now they can play now. It's live. Yeah. It's for real. Yep. Play them. Let's see if this is the best group.
I like it, and I agree with you. If there are other injuries up front or there are other substitutions made up front, get 4 out of there.
Yes.
Do not have them in there. You got through today without an injury to Dak Prescott, so you can check that box. You're okay. But if something were to happen in these final 2 games, I don't know if anybody would forgive themselves within the organization. So still a topic of conversation moving forward is, of course, if you haven't heard already, the Cowboys eliminated for playoff contention even before they took the field today. But as they take the field, here was what the result was. The Chargers get the win 34-17 over the Cowboys. 450 yards of total offense. Justin Herbert surpasses 300 yards passing in the game as the Cowboys fall to 6-8-1. The Chargers improve to 11-4. We've got more post-game reaction coming your way from the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Plus, from AT&T Stadium, we'll have locker room reaction and more on Cowboys OT and on Cowboys Game Night. That does it for the First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper.